Well, the scene today is it's very calm. It wasn't like it was 5 days ago. I finally had my counsel come in earlier today, and they're actually out, I believe, with the local government and their attorneys, and trying to come to some sort of resolution and agreement to can't put this thing to a rest now.
Any specifics that they are demanding as conditions at this point, the workers?
Well, the demand is that, a bunch of bad rumors and information got around, and some jealousy of another division getting severance packages, and some other workers that worked in that area for many, many years that had been transferred over to another division saw that and got really jealous, and they said, hey, we want to quit too. And so we're like, well, you have a job. You can't just quit. If you quit, you don't get a severance package. So there's a lot of confusion with all of that.
Well, do the workers understand at this point that their jobs are safe and you're willing to negotiate?
I'm not so sure at this point in time, because they've got their that's a little scary thing about it. They've got their mindset, and they're seeing full severance packages. I'm hoping that's not the case of this big lump sum. I'm not so sure there's so much focus in it. They want to get that, plus they want to go back to work, and that's where the breakdown's happening.
Do you feel endangered at all?
No, actually Friday and Saturday night were terrible. Friday I stayed up all night. I was negotiating with the government because it was just out of control. 150, 200 people, completely miscommunication going on. The local labor union was just, their goal was just to strictly to come to some sort of resolution to calm the people. But at the same time, it would have, you completely be committing business suicide, what they were asking me to do. And we were talking for 7 hours, from like 10 to 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, explaining how you just can't offer anybody severances just to make them happy. Because in this particular case, 80% of the people in the company would take them. I wouldn't have a company left. And so that's where we got in kind of a standstill, because I really didn't sign any of these particular agreements, and that's when kind of things got bad and lockdown took place and stuff like that.
But the local authorities are there, and you're in communication with them.
Local authorities really stay out of this. Yeah, they're outside the gate, and that's kind of the unusual thing about it, is that they really don't have any involvement at all. Unless some physical harm is being performed or done or whatever it may be, they don't involve. So I'm in here. They have full open reign and access to me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The second night, which was Saturday night, was the worst night, where they just kind of ransacked the office. 30 or 40 of them come in, sitting on the desk, on the floor. And stayed in there for 3 hours.
Wow.
Just really taking away your personal space. And then after that, banging on the doors, the glass, and bright lights. And that was the worst night. There was a big group in the factory who thought they were going to get their contract signed, and which I never executed, and that's what created all those problems.
After
that's been okay.
Have you reached out at all to U.S. authorities for help?
Yeah, all over the U.S. I've been in constant contact with the U.S. Embassy, but it's really classified as a civil dispute, and which means here, it's a monetary. The classified as a monetary issue with the facility, so they're limited in what they can do and how involved they can get. But they were out yesterday. They checked me. They brought me some medication. Just making sure you check my. Checked me over, checked where I was staying over, make sure I had the basics. So I have been involved with them that way.
Is this the cost of doing business in China?
I've been here a long time, and I don't want to, I've been, everything I have about China has been very good to me. It's been very good to my family. I think this particular situation was just, kind of fueled by bad information. We were moving a segment of our business, looking to move it over to Mumbai, India.
Right.
Where labor is quite cheaper, and the dollar versus the rupee is much stronger, and we've lost 25% valuation on the dollar here versus the renminbi over the last 4 to 5 years. In terms of that segment of the business that we're looking to move, because it's so labor intense, made sense. But the other one, which is much more automated and one person per machine, and having our lab equipment here, our microbiologists here, clean rooms here. Still made sense to keep that segment up and running.
Are you going to have to consider closing your factory there?
I'm trying not to think like that. I'm a pretty optimistic type of guy. I think what we're going to have to see is I don't need a lot of people to run that particular segment of the business, but I have to see, I know my management and my supervisors and my microbiologists and the ones I need to run the more of the educated, higher educated segment of the business. They're all there ready to go. And I think at the end of the day, I will have adequate, staff and employees to continue on.
But you are going to stick to your guns and you're going to stay in there and continue to negotiate until you guys can come to some sort of agreement here.
Well, I mean, negotiations have just started as we speak, probably about 3 hours ago.
Okay. And who are you negotiating with?
I think what they did, with the labor union, I think they have a couple key people here that represent the factory and the workforce. And I think they're working with the labor union, telling them, what they can accept, not accept, and various things. And my attorneys are working with the local government and their attorneys to try to draw something up.
Do you get the sense that there's more of an anti-American attitude right now in China?
I've never, in the 10 or 12 years I've been coming here, ever felt like I wasn't wanted, wasn't appreciated. And I don't think any of these particular actions that are happening over the last 4 or 5 days are associated with that at all.
But so it sounds like you must have been very surprised.
Now, surprised, absolutely extremely surprised. The way to go about how to solve conflict or miscommunication or bad information, to put everybody in the playpen together, and you're going to stay there until it gets done. I know me, and maybe most people, I don't deal well, being pushed into a corner to get you to sign something. I kind of just turn the other way, and that's sort of like what's happening. Only today that we've actually made some progress 5 days into it.